So with the hearings just hours away, let's preview the fireworks with Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and Cal Berkeley law professor John Yoo. Welcome to you both. The first hearing is about COVID fraud. John, I want to read this from the Washington Post, quoting here: the U.S. government may have awarded roughly $5.4 billion in coronavirus aid to small businesses with potentially ineligible Social Security numbers, offering the latest indication that Washington's haste earlier in the pandemic opened the door for widespread waste, fraud, and abuse. I mean, you look at this thing, the PPP, $6 billion. It could be $60 billion in unemployment fraud. We could be looking at $100 billion plus, John, before this thing's all over.
Sadly, these are just more examples of the failures in our COVID response programs. This is a lot of money, billions of dollars. And then look at overspending. And then look at what else the Biden administration has done. They're trying to wipe out student loan debt. They've tried to stop evictions nationwide. They tried to force everyone to get vaccine mandates. Now look, Congress passes the laws and Congress appropriates the money, but it's only the Biden administration which carries out the laws, spends the money, and should make sure it does it without this fraud, waste, and abuse. And that's the importance of the oversight hearings, is that Congress can't implement the laws, but it can draw the attention to the American people of the failures of the Biden administration in carrying them out.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Leslie, because, you know, I think we needed to get the money out there. We desperately needed it at the time, correct? My whole question is, how in the world did 70,000 illegal, false Social Security numbers get into the mix when we've got the highest tech system we should in the world, and it just didn't work?
Well, we have to look at, as John pointed out, with regard to the fraud and with regard to the money that went out. The money went out at 2 to 3 different times and spanned over 2 administrations. First the Trump administration, then the Biden administration. I think what they're going to uncover, or maybe they won't uncover, is how many people's names that may even be on that committee that received some money that shouldn't have. And that's problematic. What's further problematic is that because Americans are so concerned, and still are, with kitchen table issues and still living paycheck to paycheck, although they want answers, they do look at this as a lot of taxpayer money and time wasted, because this is not what they elected Democrats or Republicans to get to, numero uno.
Hearing 2, John Yoo, is failed immigration, and the House Judiciary Committee tweeted the following, quoting here: President Biden campaigned on an open borders agenda. Tomorrow we begin our investigation into the catastrophic effects it's had on our border communities. This is just the beginning. They also kind of need to come up with some solutions. You can't just sit there and point fingers and say, yeah, I mean, we're going to do this. You got to come up with something solid.
It's a great point, Trace. I used to be a congressional aide. I used to run these oversight hearings. What these guys have to do in the House is not give in to conspiracy theories, not to get into wild partisan accusations. What they can do, the best thing they do, is draw out the facts, as you said, Trace. How many people are coming across the border illegally? How much fentanyl is coming across? What are the crime rates at the border? Why is the Biden administration not executing the laws that Congress has written and that Trump enforced, and Trump enforced them? Hate him or love him, he enforced them rather successfully. What is the harm that's being caused by, I think, the Biden administration's enthrall to this radical ideology about immigration that looks at our borders and looks at immigration laws as racist, and instead is ignoring the protection of the national sovereignty? I think that's, again, a good thing for Congress to draw out and hold the Biden administration accountable in the next elections.
And Leslie, I know you're going to go back to your old standby of immigration reform. We need immigration reform.
Absolutely.
But I will tell you this, and I've pulled up about 4 studies that I can give them to you as you leave the door tonight. It just doesn't secure the border. Immigration reform, and listen, there are jobs that need to be filled out there, but it does not secure the border. And somehow, some way, very quickly, we need to figure out a way to secure the border.
Well, fences and bridges and tunnels and walls don't work either. That's why you need an immigration platform, which is in the hands of Congress, not in the hands of any president or any administration, this administration, even the former administration included. I want to go to something that John said with these committees. You know, here's the problem. They do get, when you look at some of the people on these committees, you know they're going to get into the conspiracy theories. They thrive on that. 1. 2, it's become political theater, sadly, often on both sides. And 3, what does it become? It's become about about, is the camera on me? I'm becoming famous. How many likes do I have on Twitter? That's sadly where we've become with a lot of these committees, and I think a lot of the American people on both sides of the aisle are sick of it because nothing really comes of it. And Congress, instead of having these committees on immigration, needs to have bipartisan, comprehensive reform passed.
Leslie, John Yoo, thank you both.